Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you for our time together. We're here in the beautiful city of Tobacco getting ready for a crusade tonight, and right in the background, the beautiful Mayan volcano. And you have to admit, it is beautiful to look at. Today I want to talk to you about the fact that God always has a remnant. In the time of Jesus, I doubt if there has ever been another time in history where the so-called spiritual leadership was less spiritual, where the leadership that was supposed to bring people to God had less desire for God. When you look at the total lack of God-called leadership, rulers of synagogue, which were man-called, man-trained, you look at the Sanhedrin and the Sadducees and the high priest, none of them were from the tribe of Levi, none of them were from the family of Aaron. There has never been a time of a more politicized, corrupt, religious, spiritual leadership, maybe in the history of all of God's people. But in the middle of all that, God always has a remnant. I want you to look with me in Luke chapter 2, verse 25. Now there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. And this man was righteous and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was upon him. And it had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he would not see death before he had seen the Lord's Christ. And he came in the Spirit into the temple when the parents brought in the child Jesus to do for him according to the custom of the law. So here's a guy in the middle of all this corruption, in the middle of all this politicized, man-made religious leadership. Here was a man who was righteous and devout, and a man that the Holy Spirit was upon. And he was being led by the Spirit. Now add to that, verse 36, and there was a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel of the tribe of Asher. She was advanced in years, having lived with her husband 7 years from when she was a virgin, and then as a widow until she was 84. She did not depart from the temple, worshiping with fasting and prayer night and day. And coming up at that very hour, she began to give thanks to God and speak of him to all who were waiting for the redemption of Israel. Have you ever noticed God always has a remnant? God always has people that are God-called. Here is a true prophetess in the temple of God, totally unrecognized by any of the Sadducees and Pharisees and Herodians, totally unrecognized by the Sanhedrin court, totally unrecognized by the high priests, but recognized by God. Sometimes you look around and you see the politicization of the church leadership in the world today, and you see how it's become a corrupt business money-making machine. And, you know, if you're not careful and guard your heart, you could get discouraged. Brothers and sisters, there's always 7,000 that have not bowed their knee to Baal. There's always a remnant that God has that are anointed of the Holy Spirit, called by the Holy Spirit, and used by God in the midst of it all. And notice, God did not surrender territory. He had his prophetess and he had his righteous man right there in the middle of it all.